Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The act of chipping something. A small disc-shaped counter used to represent money when gambling. Electronic equipment consisting of a small crystal of a silicon semiconductor fabricated to carry out a number of electronic functions in an integrated circuit. A mark left after a small piece has been chopped or broken off of something. Golf. A low-running approach shot. A piece of dried bovine dung. Break off. A piece from a hole. Her tooth chipped. A thin crisp slice of potato fried in deep fat. Cut a nick into. A small fragment of something broken off from the hole. Break a small piece off from. Chip the glass. A triangular wooden float attached to the end of a log line. Form by chipping. They chipped their names in the stone. Play a chip shot. The act of chipping something. The act of chipping something. A small disc-shaped counter used to represent money when gambling. Electronic equipment consisting of a small crystal of a silicon semiconductor fabricated to carry out a number of electronic functions in an integrated circuit. Electronic equipment consisting of a small crystal of a silicon semiconductor fabricated to carry out a number of electronic functions in an integrated circuit. Electronic equipment consisting of a small crystal of a silicon semiconductor fabricated to carry out a number of electronic functions in an integrated circuit. Electronic equipment consisting of a small crystal of a silicon semiconductor fabricated to carry out a number of electronic functions in an integrated circuit. An appraisal of the state of affairs. A check on its dependability under stress. Be verified or confirmed. Pass inspection. These stories don't check. Make cracks or chinks in. The heat checked the paint. A mark left after a small piece has been chopped or broken off of something. Examine so as to determine accuracy, quality, or condition. Check the brakes. Develop a child's or animal's behavior by instruction and practice, especially to teach self-control. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. Lessen the intensity of. Temper. Hold in restraint. Hold or keep within limits. The state of inactivity following an interruption. Held them in check. Find out, learn, or determine with certainty, usually by making an inquiry or other effort. Slow the growth or development of. A written order directing a bank to pay money. He paid all his bills by check. Be careful or certain to do something. Make certain of something. Mark into squares or draw squares on. Draw crossed lines on. Additional proof that something that was believed, some fact or hypothesis or theory, is correct. A mark indicating that something has been noted or completed, etc. As he called the roll, he put a check mark by each student's name. The act of inspecting or verifying. They made a check of their equipment. Something immaterial that interferes with or delays action or progress. The bill in a restaurant. He asked the waiter for the check. Put a check mark on or near or next to. Please check each name on the list. Be compatible, similar or consistent. coincide in their characteristics. The handwriting checks with the signature on the check. Hold back, as of a danger or an enemy. Check the expansion or influence of. The act of restraining power or action or limiting excess. Abandon the intended prey, turn, and pursue an inferior prey. Arrest the motion of something abruptly. He checked the flow of water by shutting off the main valve. A textile pattern of squares or crossed lines, resembling a checkerboard. She wore a skirt with checks. Block or impede, a player from the opposing team, in ice hockey. Chess, a direct attack on an opponent's king. Consign for shipment on a vehicle. Check your luggage before boarding. Decline to initiate betting. Hand over something to somebody as for temporary safekeeping. Make an examination or investigation. Check into the rumor. Obstructing an opponent in ice hockey. Place into check. He checked my kings. Stop for a moment, as if out of uncertainty or caution. She checked for an instant and missed a step. Stop in a chase, especially when scent is lost. The dog checked. Verify by consulting a source or authority. Check the spelling of this word. Write out a check on a bank account. Golf, a low-running approach shot. A piece of dried bovine dung. A piece of dried bovine dung. A piece of dried bovine dung. Interrupt a continued activity. Break off, a piece from a whole. Flee, take to one's heels, cut and run. Withdraw from an organization or communion. Move away or escape suddenly. Prevent completion. Break off the negotiations. Break off, a piece from a whole. Break a piece from a whole. Interrupt before its natural or planned end. Break a small piece off from. Break off, a piece from a whole. Break off, a piece from a whole. Come to be detached. Happen in a particular manner. Pleasantly cold and invigorating. Crisp clear nights and frosty mornings. Of something seen or heard, clearly defined. The crisp snap of dry leaves underfoot. Brief and to the point, effectively cut short. A crisp retort. A thin crisp slice of potato fried in deep fat. Tender and brittle. Crisp potato chips. Make brown and crisp by heating. Crisp potatoes. Of hair, in small tight curls. Make wrinkles or creases on a smooth surface. Make a pressed, folded or wrinkled line in. Crisp, is archaic. Pleasingly firm and fresh. Crisp lettuce. A thin crisp slice of potato fried in deep fat. A thin crisp slice of potato fried in deep fat. A small cut. Cut a nick into. Cut slightly, with a razor. The barber's knife nicked his cheek. An impression in a surface, as made by a blow. British slang, a prison. He's in the nick. Divide or reset the tail muscles of. Nick horses. Mate successfully, of livestock. An indefinitely short time. In just a bit. A small fragment. A small amount of solid food, a mouthful. All they had left was a bit of bread. A small piece or quantity of something. A bit of paper. A short performance that is part of a longer program. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. A bit of rock caught him in the eye. An instance of some kind. He had a bit of good luck. A unit of measurement of information, from binary plus digit, the amount of information in a system having two equiprobable states. There are 8 bits in a byte. Piece of metal held in horse's mouth by reins and used to control the horse while riding. The horse was not accustomed to a bit. The cutting part of a drill, usually pointed and threaded and is replaceable in a brace or bitstock or drill press. He looked around for the right size bit. The part of a key that enters a lock and lifts the tumblers. A crystal of snow. Come off in flakes or thin small pieces. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. A person with an unusual or odd personality. Cover with flakes or as if with flakes. Form into flakes. The substances started to flake. A small contrasting part of something. A fleck of red. Make a spot or mark onto. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. Worthless material that is to be disposed of. Dispose of, something useless or old. Scrap your old computer. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. The act of fighting, any contest or struggle. The unhappy couple got into a terrible scrap. Have a disagreement over something. These two fellows are always scrapping over something. A small piece of something that is left over after the rest has been used. She jotted it on a scrap of paper. Make into scrap or refuse. Scrap the old airplane and sell the parts. Make a break in. Remove surgically. Remove by or as if by cutting. Cut off the ear. Cease, stop. Cut off and stop. Detached by cutting. Break a small piece off from. Strike sharply. Break a small piece off from. Engrave or cut by chipping away at a surface. The act of breaking something. The breakage was unavoidable. Reimbursement for goods damaged while in transit or in use. The quantity broken. The total breakage was huge. The act of breaking something. Tennis. A score consisting of winning a game when your opponent was serving. He was up 2 breaks in the second set. Breaking of hard tissue such as bone. The break seems to have been caused by a fall. Enter someone's virtual or real property in an unauthorized manner, usually with the intent to steal or commit a violent act. Be released or become known of news. Fail to agree with. Be in violation of, as of rules or patterns. An act of delaying or interrupting the continuity. It was presented without commercial breaks. Lessen in force or effect. Break a fall. An escape from jail. The breakout was carefully planned. Interrupt a continued activity. Force out or release suddenly and often violently something pent up. Break into tears. Any frame in which a bowler fails to make a strike or spare. The break in the 8th frame cost him the match. Go to pieces. Ruin completely. Act in disregard of laws, rules, contracts, or promises. Break a law. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. Do a break dance. Kids were break dancing at the street corner. Prevent completion. Break off the negotiations. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Make known to the public information that was previously known only to a few people or that was meant to be kept a secret. Terminate. Break a lucky streak. Surpass in excellence. Break a record. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The act of breaking something. The breakage was unavoidable. Happen. Break down, literally or metaphorically. A pause from doing something, as work. We took a 10-minute break. Stop operating or functioning. Fracture a bone of. Reduce to bankruptcy. My daughter's fancy wedding is going to break me. Assign to a lower position. Reduce in rank. Geology. A crack in the Earth's crust resulting from the displacement of one side with respect to the other. Break a piece from a whole. Break a branch from a tree. Make submissive, obedient, or useful. The horse was tough to break. A time interval during which there is a temporary cessation of something. Move away or escape suddenly. Nobody can break out. This prison is high security. A personal or social separation, as between opposing factions. They hoped to avoid a break in relations. Some abrupt occurrence that interrupts an ongoing activity. There was a break in the action when a player was hurt. Destroy the completeness of a set of related items. The book dealer would not break the set. Cease an action temporarily. Let's break for lunch. An unexpected piece of good luck. He finally got his big break. An abrupt change in the tone or register of the voice, as at puberty or due to emotion. Then there was a break in her voice. A sudden dash. He made a break for the open door. Be broken in. If the new teacher won't break, we'll add some stress. Become punctured or penetrated. Cause the failure or ruin of. This play will either make or break the playwright. Cause to give up a habit. Change directions suddenly. Change suddenly from one tone quality or register to another. come forth or begin from a state of latency. Come into being. Come to an end. Crack. Of the male voice in puberty. His voice is breaking, he should no longer sing in the choir. Curl over and fall apart in surf or foam, of waves. Destroy the integrity of, usually by force, cause to separate into pieces or fragments. Diminish or discontinue abruptly. Emerge from the surface of a body of water. Exchange for smaller units of money. I had to break a $100 bill just to buy the candy. Fall sharply. Find a flaw in. Break an alibi. Find the solution or key to. Break the code. Give up. Break cigarette smoking. Happen or take place. Things have been breaking pretty well for us in the past few months. Interrupt the flow of current in. Break a circuit. Invalidate by judicial action. Make a rupture in the ranks of the enemy or one's own by quitting or fleeing. Make the opening shot that scatters the balls. Pierce or penetrate. Render inoperable or ineffective. Scatter or part. Separate from a clinch, in boxing. The occurrence of breaking. The break in the dam threatened the valley. The opening shot that scatters the balls in billiards or pool. Undergo breaking. Vary or interrupt a uniformity or continuity. Weaken or destroy in spirit or body.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.